We are live. Hello, the world. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. You know the drill by now if you've been following these for any length of time. I'm just going to share it into a couple of groups. If you just bear with me for one moment, please. Then we'll get going. So there we are. Share to a group. We're going into the Amped group, which is an awesome place to hang out.
It's an awesome place to be.
Yeah, we're going into the Empower You Energy Healing group as well. Right. Excuse me. Let's get rid of that. Don't need it now. Let's get going. So, I say hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us, whether you're live or watching the replay. My star guest today is a best-selling author and has no less than 22 books published. He also has his own publishing company for writers who think outside of the norms and offer transformational content. He's a master healer, a spiritual teacher, having positively impacted the lives of over 1 million people, which is astonishing. He's a musician, a DJ, a producer, and has combined all of these talents to bring the world amped. AMPT is an acronym with various meanings, one of which is Advanced Manifesting Procedure Electronically Delivered. Imagine reprogramming your subconscious mind by simply pressing play once per day. Barefoot then takes you on a 6-week journey which will transform your life in the main areas of health, wealth, love and relationships, not to mention ramping up your abilities to manifest. Who wouldn't want some of that, right? This truly is next level stuff, and also the most advanced brainwave entrainment on the planet. Please welcome my amazing guest, the legendary Barefoot Doctor, everyone, Stephen Russell. Woo, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, beautiful Danny. Great, lovely to be here. The only book I have of mine is 100. I'm sorry, because I'm getting quite a lot of slapback when I'm talking, so it's like just put me off. I'm trying to get that to settle. Anyhow, this book, 108 Blessings. I don't know what I'm called it on the new version, but it's the only one I've got of mine. And I open it to as an oracle. You can just flip it. There's 108 blessings in there. And what I opened it to is, we are blessed with instigating something stupendous. And I believe this guy.
Yeah, it struck me yesterday when I was asked for questions for these sessions, which are getting better and better. And some of the ones that come through, it really hit me how powerful and profound and how transformational they are for the viewers who tune in and watch, which is the reason we do them in the first place. So yeah.
How are you feeling today? What's your energy like today? I know you're just getting over a cold, but how are you feeling in the world today?
I'm a lot better. I did a Facebook Live on Saturday night with a couple of mediums, which was great, but I really had to dig deep to get my energy up. Whereas today, I feel like it's back in the flow and it's back where it needs to be. So, in fact, it feels better than normal, to be honest.
Good. I'm feeling like I'm a slight bit of false bravado I was noticing in myself. Hey, I did a bit of all that, which I'm not completely feeling, because what I'm actually feeling is quite like the tunes I've been working on are really kind of weird, like creepy, dark, kind of interesting, wistful, melancholic even. I'm quite in tune with quite a lot of the things that I feel are going on the planet at the moment. And it feels like, for me, a time of being quite humbling. It's humbling. It feels humbling at the moment. So I want to kind of deliver from a well-rounded state, which will include a lot of feminine energy, because that's where I draw my strength from, my real strength, strangely. Martial arts wise, that's where it comes from, rather than that kind of like yang thing, because that just wears out. But you just use that when you need to explode. But the move is soft, it's feminine. That's where the strength arises. I've been doing a lot of practice on the roof just now, so I'm in that kind of, and that's what I want to impart to you all, beautiful people who are sitting here with us. Good morning.
Yes, thanks for sharing that, Stephen. That sounds good to me. I just want to make this interactional as possible, as we like to do. We'll go to the comment section before we get going. John Cooney, we have a first timer. He's saying, hello, Danny and Doc. First time I've watched you. So you're more than welcome to be here.
Hi, John.
Sabine is saying morning. Good morning to you as well, Sabine.
Good morning.
Teresa. saying hello to you all, and thank you, Danny and Stephen. Always so great being with you. Likewise.
Likewise.
Angie Richardson, morning. Good morning to you, Angie. Alison Duffy, I do believe this is the first time you've joined us live. Hello, my friend. Hello, Danny and Stephen. Hello to you.
Hello, Alison.
Rob Carpenter, our friend Rob. Hi, guys. Loving AMP 2. Beautiful. Yeah, it really is super special. That. What else we've got? We've got Juliet saying morning, lovelies.
Morning, lovely.
William Green's got a thumbs up. Suzanne saying hello. Isabel, my business partner, saying hello. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Jenkins. Actually, before I forget, somebody who's also friends on Facebook with Stephen, can he also share this live broadcast onto his page as well? I can't actually do it where I'm at now. So Teresa or Juliet, if you could also share this on Stephen Russell's personal page, I'll be most grateful. Thank you very much. Right. Again, keep your comments and questions coming because we welcome them all. And so we'll get going now, Doc. Please, we've got a question from Lily. Lily asks, how would you forgive and support someone close who gets in trouble from something that goes beyond your moral limits of acceptability, and knowing there's a seriously unpleasant time for everyone involved coming as a result? How do you nonetheless maintain a cheerful, trusting disposition or position throughout?
Well, Lily, there's no glib answer to that one. It's really difficult and complex as well. I can relate it to somebody I know who got in trouble. It turned out he was doing stuff that nobody had a clue he was doing, and you'd never have thought it. And otherwise, really lovely guy, but he's in prison now for doing. I'm not going to talk about what he was doing because it's not necessary. But it was really difficult for all his friends to accept him then. But it was one of those things that I would never imagine myself doing. I couldn't. I just don't have a desire for it. It was not my kind of thing, and it wouldn't happen. But I have to go first. This kind of mea culpa. I have to go. Look, if in a different set of circumstances with a different background, different factors involved, it could have been me doing that, and it could be anybody. And the person who's done it, albeit that they've inflicted suffering, have also are in a state of suffering. So the feeling of compassion, however, and empathy, but that doesn't mean condoning it, of course, because that's not the point. Whether somebody does something outside of your moral parameters, well, look, it's not for us to expand our moral parameters to accommodate that. We know what feels right and what doesn't feel right to us. And if it doesn't feel right, you hold them to account in some way. You don't just go, well, it didn't happen and forget about it. You forgive them, you don't want to punish them because you realize it could have been you in different circumstances. You don't want revenge on them on behalf of anyone else or on behalf of life. You just want them to heal and be at one with themselves and get through the horrible passage that they're in. And yet at the same time, hold them accountable for this thing that they've done. Somehow love them despite that. I don't mean to condone what they do or approve them, but love them. Like, never put anyone out of your heart, however awful they are. It's a tricky one, though. It don't get to come in 2 seconds, this one. And how to remain positive throughout, that is, for me, all about keeping on coming into your back instead of being in the front, because the front of you is where all the theatre, all the story of it's going on, all the pain of it, all the discomfort, all the conflicts about it, all of that goes on in the front of you. So when you can sit behind that physically inside your body, suddenly you've got a big view of life, and there is this stuff going on, but that's all it is. It's stuff going on, and you're here, you're alive. You've got the biggest gift there is and could ever possibly be, without which no other gift is possible. You're here. So you have this innate delight, this thrill in being, even when the action going on in the front is distasteful or horrible or disquieting or what have you. It's a practice, as is the first part, a discipline that you develop bit by bit, and you get through it as best you can. And I really wish you well through that, Lily.
Lily, my dear, that one is for you. Sending you much love for some peace to navigate through this difficult time. And I hope that's helped. Thank you, Stephen. And you mentioned getting in your back there, Stephen, and obviously it just so happens that AMP, your brilliant program, helps you to do just that efficacy. I know we're going to be talking about AMP a little bit later on because some of these questions relate to that, but we'll be getting deeper into that soon. Sue Rotley has a question. It was actually from last time, but we didn't get to enough time to do it. She says, my question is that I'm starting a meditation group at work. We'll be meeting twice a week, but because of the nature of the job, it's a call centre she works in, we could have different people at every session. What is a good focus for this kind of environment? The pay for agents is okay. The stress can be high, and half of my team has PTSD. My goodness. It's a wonderful place to start practicing meditation. Any tips, ideas, or direction? Thank you so much in advance.
Well, Sue, good on you. That's a brilliant thing you're doing. That is absolutely brilliant, especially in a call center. Perfect, perfect. And not only will it make everyone feel better, without a doubt, it will raise the productivity levels there and just make it more fun for everyone. How to begin where you've got different people walking in and walking out? You've got to keep it really simple. I would look, I'm biased, right? Because my system is the one that I've been developing, practicing, studying for whatever it is, 50 odd years, more than 50 years now, of course. And it's so clear to me, and I've kind of always working on getting it clear for other people. That, I mean, I wouldn't want to influence you. So, you know, there's lots of styles out there, but my one, I could suggest just basic principles. So you've got, firstly, be aware of the energy that you're feeling in the call center. Don't be in denial of it. It's not about going from one state to another. It's about learning to accommodate everything in as one being. So you're accommodating the friction and the madness as well as the serenity and the calm simultaneously. And so you know, it's like, don't kind of encourage people to go like into a faux Zen thing as soon as they're going into meditation. Be you in the call center, be the crazy people that you are to start with. You take stock, in other words. Here I am doing all this zipping around, no changing of it. And bit by bit, just tell everybody to let it settle, let it settle. Then you've got the weight of the body. Let the weight sink. Everyone can relate to that. Just meet with gravity. Stop fighting it and just sink. To counter slumping, get a feeling that your head's being lifted from the back so that your crown goes up, and that gives a bit of length to your spine. That makes you awake. Drop the shoulders, because you're carrying the burden of the call center, your life story. It's all on the shoulders. Drop the shoulders, you drop the story. And then comes breathing. Very, very important, because whenever you're, as you'll know this, whenever you're stressed or panicking or anxious or depressed or whatever, it changes your breathing. It becomes more shallow. When you're anxious, it becomes quite jagged and quick, and the diaphragm area gets really, really tense. So the first thing to do is breathe out, like, oh, and keep just doing, oh, until you feel your diaphragm no longer fighting back, because it will do that. You'll let go of it. Okay, let go. It will grip back. You let go. It grips back. You let go. It grips. You've got to just keep going till it stops gripping and goes, oh, all right. Yeah, I trust it. This is all right. I'll be here and I'll breathe. And then once the breath is flowing, everything calms. Then you tell them to soften all the muscles. It's also obvious. Just let all the muscles go so that you're not kind of holding. The forearms are an interesting play. People do that a lot when you're at work, especially because you're kind of holding on to ideas and thoughts. And so without realizing it, the forearms get tense. You tell them to just relax your forearms, and then everything else will relax with it. Or relax the back of the neck, everything else relaxes with it. Then the big one is, you have the choice of being in the front of you, where the whole call center and the human drama goes on, or being in the back of you, which is like the boss's office, behind and above it all, where you can see down and through into the floor, but the noise of it isn't bothering you at all, and you're really serene back here. So you're quite enjoying the activity that's going on in the front and all the thoughts and feelings associated with it, but you're no longer in it. And you learn to sit back, and as you sit back, you open your heart in the front, because that keeps you connected to all the sentient beings. It stops you from disconnecting at a soul level. You stay connected deeper than when you're connecting with your personality, and you just allow yourself to drift backwards and backwards. And as you do, you become bigger. You feel yourself becoming bigger and bigger, until you feel that you are one with the entirety of the continuum of existence. That's what the Chinese call Tao. It's what we would call God if we didn't have all the stories that went with it. So it's the unlimited, the biggest, the ultimate penultimate and beyond ultimate entity and beyond all entities that we can't describe, the great presence, whatever you want to call it. As you learn to sit back and back about, you realize that's what you are. And this physical self is the embodiment of that in human form. And I would go on, but it's not the place for it. But that's, if you can just get people to that state and just to sit there breathing with no thought for 2 seconds, even just 2 seconds, you've done a miracle. Because every 2 seconds you get of no thinking, of being in the back, is like making a hole in the wall of the dam. And bit by bit, the dam eventually goes bang, and all the water floods into the back. And there you are, you've got it all the time. A state of perpetual delight, which is what it's all about.
Brilliant answer, Doc. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Sue, I just want to acknowledge you. I've known you for a few years now, and look how far you've come. So as Stephen said, the fact you're doing this, kudos to you. You'll help a lot of people in the process. Big up to you.
Could I say that you're very welcome to be in touch with me, and I'd be very happy to make suggestions for you as you go along and it develops. If you want feedback, Sue, really, because great idea.
You heard it here, Sue. Nice one, Doc. Right, what have we got? I'll go to the comments again in a moment, but we've got a one from last time as well, which didn't get done. Casey Scott has a question for you. He asks, can you ask the doc why the low pressure systems wreak havoc on my joints? Thanks in advance. Any thoughts on that, Stephen?
Yeah, it's a thing, isn't it? Well, it's obviously the humidity. Well, the Chinese call it like seeping in through the openings, the energy openings. I mean, there's no kind of one cure for all of that, but I mean, there's a really basic thing to do. Eating knobs of ginger is very helpful once a day at least. You get a thumb, like at the top of your thumb, and you just chew it and let it explode in your mouth, and you snot up and your eyes go and everything for a moment. The throat burns for a second, but it's really nice. And then when that all settles, that helps send heat into the joints via the kidneys. It is a kidney problem. It's a kidney issue in terms of energy. By strengthening the energy of your kidneys, it strengthens the defensive energy of the joints. So it will prevent that intake of damp air, is what the Chinese might call it. I mean, yeah, if you could sit with a hot water bottle on your lower back at night and kind of come on and off it like that, maybe sort of 9 times, and then sit back into it again, then come on and off it a bit, just to keep a kind of a stimulation going in the kidney area. That in itself will help. Plus, if you this joint, say you rub a lot, and maybe you do that already, but just rub it a lot. Put a lot of heat into it. And eventually, on a psycho-emotional level, at the deepest level, when there are joint issues, it's because you are at some level, as we always are really anyway, but you're in a kind of a particular process of it, thinking about checking out. Because if you think about it, the bones, the skeleton is the most physical of aspects of you. And when there's kind of conflict, which is what pain is, in any of the joints, i.e. the connections in the skeleton, it's because there's a part of you go, I don't know about this, maybe it's time to, let's go, let's get out of here. Or, we usually experience this fear, oh God, I hope I'm not going to go now. But really the soul is quite happy about all that. It's delighted to be set free. So it's that part that's kind of going, maybe this is the out now. But and that's usually what causes the at deep level, though. I mean, I'm not suggesting that you need to look at that even, just saying it because it's interesting. But we all get joint problems all the time, so don't kind of take it personally. I don't know what else to say except go to a dry climate and just live there. Might help. But anyway, it doesn't really, because as soon as it goes damp, you feel it straight away. I wish I could tell you more, but there you go. Thank you.
No, I think you did brilliant on that. It's funny when these questions come in, many times I think, well, I could probably answer that, and that's what I think about this. But sometimes they come in, I think, I wouldn't have a clue where to start with that one. I simply wouldn't have done with that. So that's for you, Casey. I think you did well on that one, Doc. Cheers.
Thank you.
Austin has a great question. I think this is an excellent question. Austin asks, how to find clarity and resolve confusion, how to know which path to take and which route to choose when a plethora of options are there. How do you decide which one's best when you've got lots of options in front of you?
Great question. You, I do this little song at the end of my spoken word repertoire. If you're feeling sad and blue because you don't know quite what you'll do, here's a little song for you that will tell you exactly what you'll do. You'll do what you'll do, how you'll do it, when you'll do it. You'll do what you'll do, and that's all there is to it. You'll do what you'll do, how you do it, as you do it. You do what you do, and that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Cheers. And I'd be just singing that on the roof before, like a lunatic, thinking about it, because I know I went through phases in my life where all I was doing was throwing the I Ching or swinging a pendulum or looking at the tarot cards, asking psychics, astrologers, and still being completely confused. I never, do I live in Toronto? Do I live in Vancouver? Do I live in New Mexico? Do I live here? Do I go to Berlin? Do I live here? And what eventually kind of, I gave in. I let the Tao take over. So this sort of sitting in the back, I'm aware that I am everything okay. I've got everything I need in this moment. I'm alive, basically. And I have a range of options of how to proceed from here. So I've got chances to carry on being alive. So, all right, so far, so good in the moment. And I know that I have an intention. Say, I mean, I'm just using my own example to help you here. Say, for example, I don't know, do I want to live in Bahia in Brazil or Berlin? There was that going on for me. I was on the bees at one point. Can you imagine between those two? And I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. So, but I do know, what do I want from it? What I want is to be living somewhere where I love it, where I feel safe and at peace, and I'm joyful, and things are working for me, and I like the people around, and everything feels right, for example. So then I go, here I am. And I want to be living somewhere where I feel really good, and all the rest of it. Let it happen. Just take me there, or bring it to me more, really. And then you sit back and you sit back and you sit back and you just carry on. You do whatever you need to do to keep going as the day unfolds, day by day. And by, usually within about 90 days, you'll get at least your first sign of where it is. It will be bang in front of you. And you'll be guided there. You just will be drawn, or it will be drawn to you, whatever the thing is that you need. There is, I feel, maybe there are no options. It just looks like there are. Certainly looking back on it, it's easy to say. It seemed all so perfectly diagrammed out in a way that I'd never realized going through it. It just seems to me that if you just let your intention be for the very best possible to occur for you and everyone involved with you at every step of the way, and for everything to unfold with supreme elegance, no matter what, and that everything that happens turns to your advantage. If you let that be your métier, your intention, and you hold fast to it, it will happen, and it will bring you everything you want, whatever it is, in the most perfect way, because somehow the road is already written. It's already there. We just got to let go and let it take us. That's all it is, I think. But what do I know? Because nobody's ever found out, really, for sure, how it all works.
Nice one, Doc. That was for Austin. I'm sure that was helpful. I know that's great advice. I can take that on board as well. Nice one. I'm just going to go to the comments a moment. Isabel saying, let go of trying to figure it out and go with the flow. Just saying, love that, yeah, which is what you said. So just acknowledging that. Oh, bless. Nina is saying, Barefoot Doctor, you are the best. Quite agreed.
Thank you. Just a mirror of your own bestness, darling.
Sylvia has given a round of applause. My cousin Lisa McDonald is on. Good morning, cousin.
Good morning.
Good to see you here. We've got a question coming live. It's from our friend Rob. He's saying, just curious. I'm volume 2, week 3, when you say, when I feel fear and I ask myself, would I let go of wanting to change this? Could I let go of wanting to change this? The answer to both is, of course, yes. Was the inspiration for this by the Sedona method, by any chance, which I also love, he says.
No, it wasn't, actually. Do you know where that came from? That came from Robert Dalbany. When I was about 20, I did this thing in England, in London, called Exegesis. It was run by a guy called Robert Dalbany. It was really heavy, like seriously heavy form of instant enlightenment, but it really works. It was brilliant. And one of the things was, whatever you're feeling, could you let go of wanting to change that? Yeah, I could. Would you let go of wanting to change? Yeah, I would. And as soon as you said that, you stop feeling it, whether it's fear or anything else, because when we're trying to change it, and this is the Taoist thing, when you try and change it, it just resists you. So if you want something to change, you honor it as it is, and then it will change. That's the thing. And yeah, but the words come from Robert Dalbany. He said that to me when that's like 43 years ago.
Yeah, that would be in pre the Sedona method. But so now, Rob, I must admit I had a similar thought when I was listening to week 3. So that's cleared up my own question as well.
I remember when the Sedona method started, because I was in New Mexico at the time. I got given this a light blue manual that had been photocopied off. They were the first ones of how to do it. It looked really good, actually. It looks good stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome stuff. This question up next is from Judy, and she goes on to explain, I would love to clear the resistance I have to completing programs. I know, Judy, she's talking about personal development programs. I buy them. Some have been very expensive, and I'm very excited to start and learn, but then I don't see them through. I don't complete them. So she's saying, help. What can you advise, give insights on why this is perhaps the case, why it's her pattern, and what she can do about it?
I think that because there's evidently the rebel within you, Judy, that is saying that wants to kind of like rebel against anything that you decide to do. And I guess the way that it could be, I would suggest this at the beginning when you've got the course and you open it up and you're about to start. Just as you're about to start, you say to your subconscious with great focus, pretend that I have finished this course and done it perfectly all the way through. Pretend that I have already finished this course and done it perfectly all the way through. Pretend that I have already finished this course, got to the other end of it, and finished the whole thing all the way through. And you just usually need to say it 6 times for it to penetrate. In other words, clone the program of me completing things successfully for this. Clone the program for me completing things successfully for this. You're talking to your own subconscious. And if you do give it the message 6 times with focus, without being weird about it, just make it be heard in there. That's what will happen. That's what will happen. You just need to get agreement from yourself. And it's so clever. The subconscious doesn't care one way or the other. It doesn't have judgment. It'll just do what it needs to do. So if you say to it, clone the program, pretend that I've already done this, it'll do that. And that's the experience you'll get. Bit of magic for you there. See if it works and let us know.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I'll be trying that one on various aspects of my life. Nice one.
It works for sleep as well. If you're having a difficult time sleeping, I should remember this because I sleep like a lunatic, but before going to bed, you tell your subconscious, pretend that I've already woken up in the morning feeling beautiful after a good night's sleep. It works. It's great.
I sleep like a lunatic. That is the quote of this session so far. That's brilliant.
I wake up and make tunes in the middle of the night. That's what I do. I'm insane, really.
Excellent. A bit of fun one from William, who's in the Amped group. You see, in the start of Amp 2, the beat is very reminiscent of a beat used by Gat Decor's Passion. And indeed, it goes on to say it inspired a night of listening to 90s dance music and rediscovering some really long-lost tunes. He's asking, what would the Doc's Desert Island discs be? I don't know, just pick a few of your Desert Island discs.
Oh, gosh, it's just so difficult because I really hate to confess this, but I don't listen to any music unless someone's playing it for me these days. I used to be like really, really like, but I've been so involved in making all this stuff that the only music I know is either this, excuse me, or really, Dead Can Dance. I haven't heard their new album. It's just out. I'd really like to, but Dead Can Dance, the one from 2000, roughly 1997, somewhere around there. I'd have that one. I can't remember what it was called. It was brilliant. I'd have to go back older ones. I'd have to have Miles Davis kind of blue. I'd have to have some John Coltrane, Horace Andy. I'd have to have some Sibelius. Maybe it's difficult with Sibelius. There's only bits that I like, but Sibelius' Third Symphony. I'd have to have that, I think. Oh man, honestly, there's so many. I'd forget all the ones I really love. I know I would. Rhythm of the Saints, Paul Simon. It is just because it's so innovative and brilliant songwriting. Oh, I really like the new Tribe Called Quest album, but I'm not really sure that I need to have that. Oh man, can we stop there before I
Yes,
do my head in? Yeah.
yes. Nice one. Thank you for sharing. There you go, William. Now you know. And this one's from EEMA. I hope I pronounced your name right. Who was a new member of the AMP Facebook group as of a few days ago. Um, well, on this subject, we've had something like 30 new members in the last 10 days, which is amazing.
Oh, great.
If you want to come join us, just do a search for AMPED, AMPED, in the search box, and you'll see a swanky picture of the doc in a suit and sitting on an amplifier, and get yourself in. So
No, it's because of you, because you make it beautiful here. I mean, I'm really naughty boy with social media. I just don't seem to yet have the time to. I don't know how anyone does find the time, but because you're here and you're doing this, this has become the venue where you're likely to find me the most. So it has that value, I guess, if you find that value. But suddenly I felt very big-headed saying that. It has that value. You can find me here.
it's great to bring you out of social media hiding. So I'll take the credit for that, and I'm pleased I did. Excellent. So Emma from the AMP group says, "Hi, I'm on the last 2 days of the second session of AMP 2.
Yeah.
I know I only need to listen to it once a day, but I like the music and don't want to miss things that Barefoot Doc is saying so often. So it's just he often listens to a session 3 or more times a day. I'm feeling a bit uneasy and having thoughts about old and loving relationships that aren't helping me enjoy the time I share with them. Am I overdoing the number of times I listen to the session every day?" So basically, all stuff's coming up as he's listening a few times a day.
Good point. I mean, no, I don't. Honestly, I don't think so. Because I'd like to think it's well enough mixed and balanced in all its aspects that it works fine. And I think no, I mean it is quite deep though. So it's really like having it's like if you're doing Qigong and you're doing say like a move and you do 9 repetitions, that's your kind of minimum that will keep you going and make you grow. So that's kind of like 1 listen a day. But if you do 81, you get this extra strength from it, and that will also flush up a bit of old toxins that have been hanging about in the body and what have you. But you'll feel amazing after. So that I think it would work like that. Actually, I'd like to think so. I don't think you could overdo it. You get sick of it, wouldn't you? Just want to listen to that. I mean, I had to listen to all of it like hundreds of times through, and you didn't do anything to me. Anyway, yeah.
Right. So that one was for you, Emma. Suzanne, she's asked to be a trade secret here now, Doc. She's also an AMPed member. And she's saying, what software are you using to create AMPed? Do you use a specific machine, for example, like a Rife machine or some such, to generate your frequencies?
I use Ableton 10.5 as my recording platform, and I use a lot of plugins. I mean, you know, the synths that I'm using, my favorite at the moment is Omnisphere. Well, favorite, it's the one I use it a lot. I use Neve, Wavetable, Control, Contact rather, Native Instruments, Reactor. I could go on. I mean, I've got some beautiful synths though, lovely, and for tone generation, for frequencies, it's a combination. I was bequeathed some beautifully recorded frequencies by Ken Owen, who was a master sound engineer of the old school at Sony, where they used to use tape machines and stuff. And he recorded it with a really good old-fashioned mic, and it's just analog, you know, the most beautiful. So, but I flip between. I've got in my Waves plugins, I've got a tone generator, so I'll go for that real pure sine wave thing combined with the analog thing, and I mix usually about 12 frequencies together in various kind of chordal shapes with inflections and various effects to do stuff with them, and create binaural beats by having them offset against each other left and right and what have you. Yeah. Is that too boffin for you? Get me started. I could talk all night about that, but yeah.
I know a little bit about Suzanne. I think that'll be right up her street, what you just shared there. She's quite a I'm sure she won't mind me saying that she's a bit of a music geek and a buff in herself. So I think that'll be
Good
good
on you.
with
Yeah.
Suzanne. We're obviously talking about AMP Volume 2, and I've just put up in the header, if you want to learn more about that, you can, of course, go to barefootdoctorworld.com, www.barefootdoctorworld.com, where it's such a cool site. He adds things regularly, or his business partner does, the interviews. You can download free samples for AMP Volumes 1 and 2. You can also invest in it. There's sign up for his newsletter. There's all kinds of cool stuff and techniques and stuff to get your teeth into. I can spend an hour on that website quite easily. So you might want to get yourself over to there after this session is done. I'll just hide that for now and we'll move on. Right, you've already answered that question with an earlier one. Another one, what's the fastest way to break state and get back into a non-fight or flight mode and get back into the back brain again when we're all riled up and overthinking or overanalyzing?
I mean, it only takes a split second to move into the back brain, because it's just moving back into the back brain. Like you're watching what's going on here, and then you just go and bring it into the back brain. So there's nothing much quicker that I know than that. But the technique for it, I mean, it's so tricky sometimes, because we're so used to not using the mind that way that we need these kind of tricks to get us to concentrate on it. But I mean, you're in the middle of a drama, and I know what it feels like. And it's like you're not breathing properly. You're right in it. Your adrenals glands are overworking. I'll tell you what, I think the quickest way is you picture your amygdala, because the amygdala is like the thing that hangs down in the midbrain area. And when you pump cortisol into the system from the adrenal glands, the amygdala shrivels up, and that puts the body into a contracted state. So if you just picture the amygdala hang down like a pair of very relaxed testicles on a balmy, warm evening, and the man has not a care in the world. Somehow, that's what they should look like, hanging down. And when that happens, the cortisol levels drop, and you stop being in that fight, flight, or freeze mode immediately. I think. I mean, that works for me anyway.
I'll just picture those dandling, relaxed testicles. That'll get us present and break state for sure.
Yeah, you're laughing anyway. That's the first stage, I think.
Yeah, definitely that laughing will always get you out of fight or flight. Get in a different part of the brain. Love it. Fantastic. Stephanie has a question. She actually was very complimentary of you last time. I'm sure she won't mind me sharing this. She said you answered her question last week. She said for the first time ever, she felt seen and she felt heard. And very gently and intuitively answered her question. So she was extremely grateful and overwhelmed with gratitude for you doing
nice.
that.
Bless you, Stephanie. Yeah.
She has a follow-up question. She's saying, what I would like to ask is about feeling that I've been stuck for a very long time in many areas of my life, career, finance, health, relationships. I've made incremental changes over the years by working really hard, but it's all been very uphill, and I can't get the kind of breakthroughs that I'm looking for. Even when something is going well, my ensemble, for example, something happens. She's saying we just lost our space. I feel exhausted with trying to make my life work, and I feel I'm just getting something really quite wrong, but I don't know how to fix it.
Wow. Oh, I feel for you. But look, Stephanie, that when I look down like that, it's because I've got a microphone here, so I'm looking down at the microphone for some silly reason, because I know the camera's there. But what you're describing is actually just that. It's a description, and I know it's a big one, and you feel it deeply. So I'm not suggesting that I'm not trying to diminish it. But it is a story that you're telling yourself. My life isn't working. It's not doing what it's meant to do. It keeps getting nearly there and then messes itself up. The Taoist approach is to firstly acknowledge that's not fact, that is an assumption. It's a description. It's a way of describing the situation, which could be described in many other ways from different perspectives. Therefore, how about experimenting? This is the Taoist approach, by assuming that even though your life seems not to match up to what the ideal that you hold of it, it is actually working perfectly exactly as it is. And all the things that seem to be wrong are actually meant to be there, and they're not wrong. They're just factors. They're just interesting little factors that you have to go around or work with, or that are going to help you see something or heal something or whatever. In other words, all of them can turn to your advantage if you are willing for them to. And when you can start to assume that the way you're doing it and the way that it's working out is bang on and right for you, despite the fact that it doesn't match up to your ideal of what you think it should be or what you think other people think it should be, what you find is that the more you do that, the more it actually starts doing that for you, the more it actually does start working for you. It's like if you are the leader of a troop of soldiers, for example, if you're confident, even if you might make the odd mistake, because everyone does, but you're confident in your own leadership skills, you lead, they'll be confident in you as a leader. So basically within us, it's like a troop that we have to lead. So if you're just confident about, look, the way I roll is the way I roll, is the way I roll, it's right for me, then the rest of you, like all the different bits of you, will feel more confident to go along with it. And I'd say that I could go on a lot more. There's a lot more to go to this, but that would be first stage is acknowledging, just from an experimental point of view, you don't have to believe it, just to acknowledge the possibility that how it is completely right for you. This is the way my life works, and it's good. I love this, all the glitches and all the rest, because if you have the stuff you think you want, it still would do that, because it does for everybody. And I don't know anyone, however rich or successful, that doesn't have to deal with the dark side of everything. Everything has its own dark side. Everything has its responsibilities. However beautiful something is, it's going to have its pain. Like, even if it's just when it goes in the end, you know, there's always the dark side to deal with. So to assume that by changing your conditions will make you no longer have to confront the pain of life is not true either. So I'm happy with the way it is. You know, I know there's going to be pain and pleasure no matter what. And it's beautiful. Thank you. I love this. This is an amazing manifestation, even if it seems like shit compared to what I think it should be. If you can be like that, then suddenly it starts to become that beautiful manifestation. You honor it, and then it becomes it. I hope that helps you a bit. Let me know.
Okay. Cheers, Doc.
Yeah.
We're going to try and squeeze two more in now, please, if that's okay. The first one is from Joan. He said she's got a daughter with autism. If I get this thing, that's so soothing, that toy playing in the background. Joan says, I've got a daughter with autism, and anxiety is at such a dangerous height. Any suggestions on how to lower high anxiety?
I've a daughter with autism and anxiety is such a dangerous. Her anxiety or your anxiety, Joan?
It's a daughter. It's a daughter's anxiety. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh shit. Well, I mean, it's really difficult to say, because I don't know her, and I don't want to just say something daft and gratuitous. But look, I don't know how it is when you touch her, if she allows you to put your hand on her, but it would cut out a lot of unnecessary flap. If you could just place your hand on her solar plexus, firmly, gently, warmly, and just hold it there. Tell her why you're doing it. You're doing it to help her stop holding her breath and to breathe more freely. And you let the hand movement somehow encourage her to slow her breathing down. And you kind of help to gently accentuate the out breath, kind of give her the message by pressing that, okay, I'm hearing you, I'm seeing that. Getting giving her the body, the message through pressing on it, that it's good to extend the out breath. Okay, now you said she's only a child and doesn't want to live anymore. Well, look, this is a big one. The breathing is obviously the most important thing for living. So if you can at least get her breathing by putting your hand on, and that's perfect for a small child, because it's better not, not the talking. The hand on there is really important. And then while you're doing that, this is really good. It's a hypnotherapy technique. You can just keep repeating, "You are alive. You are alive. You are alive." And you do it in your own way, your own voice, like a lullaby. Like my dad used to go, "Ah, baby, when he was winding me. It's that sort of like rhythmic thing, because I know it sounds bizarre and you're going to think, so what? But I've seen miracles happen with people just by repeating that a few times in a conversation, that actually turn them from the suicidal state without them realizing it. And then, we could talk about this further because it's a big topic. So I hope that we can somehow have further contact about it. But yeah, to the hand on the solar plexus, encourage her to slow the breathing down and to breathe, and just start repeating, "You are alive. You are alive. You are alive." And don't go further than that. See what happens, and let's talk again. Oh, you poor woman. I wish you well.
Yes, our heart goes out to Joan, and I've known Joan for a number of years now. I wasn't aware this was going on. So, as a doc says, please do keep dialogue going with this. The doc's obviously helped so many people around the world with all kinds of things. So, really do give this credence and give it a try. Sometimes we try and overcomplicate things with techniques and bells and whistles, but quite often it's just your presence and your love and trying that. You are alive. So, that was for you, Joan. Much love. Just one more question, if I can just squeeze in, Doc, please. It's from Isabel. She's saying, rephrasing the question because it was down on my list, and she's slightly reframed it. Any tips on how to get your gut, your heart, and head aligned so you can move towards a dream in full alignment and capability?
Yeah, Isabel, good question. The Taoist kind of anatomy of what they call the psychic body or the spirit body is three chambers inside the physical. The first one is inside the brain, and it's the whole of the inside of the brain is called your upper chamber. That is responsible for providing the human being with consciousness, obviously. Then you go down to the middle of the chest. That's the second one, and that's called the Crimson Palace, and it's the chamber that is all about love and the human qualities that make life beautiful. Our courage, our willingness to take risks, a willingness to help other people, the care that we can provide, and the ability to receive love and help from other people. That's the heart, and that's what makes life be the human event that it is. And then the lower belly is the lowermost chamber, and this is like the cauldron, the energy production center of the body. That's what grants the physical, the human being, energy from the spirit realm. All of these are ways of doing that from the spirit realm. And the idea is to picture these three chambers, like three spheres, one on top of the other, one in the belly, one in the chest, and one in the midbrain. And you can use colors if you like. So the lower one, you can make it kind of amber, so amber gold, because that's kind of like energy, isn't it? It's like life moving. The middle one, all the colors that you'd associate with love, the crimson, the pink, the puce, the rose, so on, with a bit of gold in there as well. And then the midbrain, a kind of an electric blue, because it's really clear and cool, and like an aqua, beautiful aqua. So it's like a pleasant coolness in the brain area for the consciousness. And the lowermost center should really be the one with the most attention applied to it, because that's the one that regenerates your energy. So you have most of your awareness is down in the belly, where it's all like burning warm amber gold light. The second most awareness, the second most pressure is on the middle one, just the awareness of it, just lightly being open and available. So allowing the innate beauty of your soul, the unique gift that you have, that you come to this world to share, to allow that to radiate freely. You just get a feeling of the playful child before school, the 3-year-old, innocent, just joyfully playing and wanting to give and to play with everybody. that beauty of your soul is free to radiate from that one. You don't make a big deal out of it. You're still more focused on the power in the belly, so anchoring that, supporting it. And then the midbrain one, there's the least amount of pressure on, because you don't want to put pressure on their head. It's just a beautiful aqua electric blue opening feeling, like a large expanse of consciousness that stretches out to the edges of infinity. And that would be the best kind of balance, if you like. You've got a point here in the middle of the forehead. If you touch it just above the line of the eyebrows, then you put a finger in the middle of your breastbone and you feel those two connect. Then you take that finger and move it down to below the navel and you press in a little bit so you feel those connect. Then you move this one down to here so that you make sure that those two are connecting. And then you move this one back up to here. Finally, bring this one to the heart, take that one off, then open, and just feel your love and anchored down in the belly and the mind, seeing it all clearly. That's a good one.
Nice one. You sound all bummed up, Doc. Have you been catching my cold through the ether?
Yeah, this cold, I've been fielding it, and it's been going on for about 2.5 weeks, but it hasn't. I've actually, through all my stuff, it doesn't come out. So it's there, but without coming into a full-blown exegesis of cold.
All right, bless you.
I quite like it, though. It's all right.
All right. Isabel's saying she so loves that exercise and clarity of the answer. Thank you.
You are most welcome. Thank you.
I'm just wondering, I've kind of got a guided visualization. Are you up for finishing us all off with one of your beautiful visualizations?
Yeah. What should we visualize? What do we want?
Well, what I've got written down is kind of similar to what Isabel's just reframed, so we're often on the same wavelength. But I was going to say, could you guys through a session to help everyone break through into the next level of their development, or to allow in their manifestations, especially the ones that just don't seem to want to come to pass?
Yes. Let's do that for all of us.
Right.
Now, so everyone who's present, everyone who watches this is going to work. This is like magic. We are joining our intentions together.
Thank you.
All right. So, first of all, let's accommodate in ourselves the idea of there being a big circle of us together here. And it doesn't matter if people join after we've actually done it. It makes no difference, because this is something going on outside of the linear time frame. So you get a sense of a multitude of us joining in the ether, sitting in a large circle, a bit like a Native American the monthly tribal meeting. And the atmosphere is congenial and pleasant. It's not scary or off-putting or creepy. It's really inviting and warm, a bit like a large sweat lodge that isn't actually that hot, just nice and warm, and you know, just wearing your clothes and sitting in a comfortable chair. So it's a really nice feeling, everyone together. And the sense is that not just for our own individual purposes, but for the good of all humanity, that the next level is required to be reached. We need to reach the next level of our personal and collective development. And this means that the solutions to the various problems that are facing us as individuals, but collectively as well, the ecological situation and what have you, they will find a resolution through us reaching the next level of our own individual and collective development. So the idea that as we step into the bigger next level self, each of us, that we're doing this on behalf of all humanity, for everyone to step into, for humanity to step into its next level, big self. And then by doing that, everything that accrues to the bigger self, all the bits and pieces, the wherewithal, the events, the conditions, the situations, the opportunities, the achievements, and everything that accrue to the bigger self will therefore then be made manifest. So rather than it being going out to get things, what we're doing is we're expanding who we are into the next level, and that expansion will accommodate or encompass the bits and pieces and the things that are out there that need to be in here into the sphere. We just basically, each of us are going to make our sphere of experience, activity, and influence bigger by a quantum jump. And as the sphere expands, then it encompasses the next realm of stuff that we need, each of us in our lives, i.e., you know, the events, the resources, the opportunities, and so on, the connections, all of the stuff that goes on in the world that we need. And this is on a collective level too. So we're not just doing this as selfish people, we're doing this self-fully, but also altruistically, for the good of all, collectivistically. We are doing this for everybody, for all of us. And so that's the attitude, that's the spirit, a giving, beautiful spirit that includes ourselves as recipients as well, by the way. We're not being martyrs here. And now if you could just let your weight drop into your hips so that you feel as if you're making contact with the ground, you're honoring the power of the earth, which, bear in mind, at this very moment is moving around the sun at no less than 19 miles per second. That is 66,000 miles an hour, over 100,000 kilometers an hour. We are zooming around the sun while spinning on our axis at 1,000 miles an hour. What is it, 1,500 kilometers an hour? Whatever it is, huge speed, so that we don't fall off it. It's like a gyroscope effect. The crust of the earth is relatively thin. Beneath that is like a nuclear powered spaceship. So it's not a boring thing, the earth, to come and honor. We honor the power of a spaceship. So you honor that by letting your weight sink. Simultaneously, imagine that your skull is a helium-filled balloon that is seeking the sky, because it's, you know, got that gas in it, and it's just lifting up, and that lengthens your spine. Drop the shoulders, let your breastbone slightly rise up, but without arching your back, and open out to the side, so that you get a sense of revealing the true beauty of your soul through the middle of your chest. You allow it to be present, both in a generous giving mode of love and also in a receptive mode of love, receiving the love of everyone. You become aware of your breathing and do what you can to slow it down and soften it up. And most importantly, to stop holding your breath. Let the breath flow freely, so that you don't have to be doing a big deal with it, but just breathe like a baby does. They don't hold their breath, babies. You know, they just breathe. So breathe like a baby breathing. Really nice and innocent and easy. And bit by bit, feel the energy of the body starts to mobilize itself, so that things that need healing will receive the energy and the blood will follow that, and healing can occur. And things that need balancing can be balanced because the energy moves through them, and so on. Be aware that as the energy starts moving in the body, it's also moving throughout your energy sphere, that kind of energy field that surrounds you. So the healing is occurring around you in the conditions of your life, as well as it is within the conditions of your body, because the outside reflects the inside and vice versa. And get a sense that you have the opportunity to either stay in the front of your body, which is reference to all the stories that you tell yourself, all the descriptions of life that you uphold by conducting an ongoing internal narrative in the forebrain, that kind of debate that you have with yourself, between the devil and the angel, between the practical and the impractical, between the dreamer and the realist, and all of those conflicts that occur, the conscience and the one that just wants gratuitous satisfaction, all of those conflicts that occur, and the stories that you weave around them, and all the emotions that are associated with those stories, all of that is in the front of you, which is the habitual place to be, so we're lost in the story. But you do have the opportunity to be in the back at any moment. The back is where there is no story, there is no friction, there is no conflict, there's no activity. It's just pretty much still and silent and warm and stable and welcoming, as you really want an environment to be if you want a clear head. And so just as an experimental stance, bring yourself into the back of you and let yourself enjoy the sensation of occupying the power seat in the body, because this is where the power is. It's like if you're driving a racing car, you don't want to sit hunched up against the windscreen. You want to sit right back in the seat to get a panoramic view of the track and of the instruments and of what you're doing. That's the only way you can really control the car. And it's the same with the vehicle, the human body and the human mind. You control the whole thing a lot better by sitting in the back, by sitting back inside, with the back of your head resting against the internal headrest at the back of your brain. So let yourself be back. Just let yourself occupy the rear of you, and you'll notice that you suddenly feel a lot bigger, a lot larger, and more universal in essence. The quality of you feels more universal. You become aware of the in the front of you now, that the habitual noise that goes with the being a human being has miraculously, relatively speaking, subsided, so that it feels quite calm and quiet in there now, which is a blessed relief and a miracle. Now, from this stance, picture all around you a large sphere of energy, a sphere made of light, extending from your body approximately 6 meters in every direction, above you, below you, to the sides, behind you, to the front. And picture this sphere comprised of a very subtle, beautiful, quite muted, nothing garish, golden light, kind of little flecks of golden light. And the sphere is ovoid shaped, just like an egg. So it's a bit higher at the top and the bottom than it is wide. And it's spinning around you in a counterclockwise direction, actually at the speed of light, but you can see the trail of it, so you can tell there's a motion. And in this counterclockwise direction, it's cleansing you of all negative thinking, all negative thoughts that got stuck to you, and all physical correlations with those negative thoughts. It's cleansing those, and it's casting off, deflecting any negativity that wants to come your way. It's being cast off by the spin. Simultaneously, picture the same size and shape of sphere turning co-spatially on the same axis in a clockwise direction at the speed of light. So the other one's turning counterclockwise, so you let that carry on. But simultaneously, you've now got another one spinning clockwise. And it's doing so with such beautiful precision and smoothness that it's serving as a magnet to draw to you all the conditions and events and opportunities required for your life to sing in every respect. So you're getting a sense of gathering strength on all levels by the clockwise turning of the sphere. Now, let the circling thing happen on its own, and just accept that you now have protection and you now have a strengthening process occurring. Focus now on the size of the sphere, because it was about 3 meters in every direction. Now double it to 6 meters in all directions, and get a sense of a greater expanse occurring around you. But now quadruple it so that it goes out to, from it being 6 meters, times it by 6, so it's 36 meters from you in every direction. And then multiply 36 by 36 and make it go out yet again by a quantum leap, until you feel yourself in the midst of an ovoid sphere of golden light that is spinning in both directions simultaneously, both to protect you and to draw to you everything you need. That is now huge, absolutely massive. And the greater expanse of space that it now covers, bearing in mind, this is your sphere of experience, of activity, and of influence. So this is the sphere of everything happening in your life, your field, if you like, is now absolutely massive. And this great growth of the size of it means that it's now encompassing all the details, the conditions, the events, the situations, the opportunities, the connections that were lying just outside of your reach hitherto are now encompassed within your energy sphere. They're all now part of your reality, so that whatever changes are required in your career, in your love life, in your health, your personal development process, and every aspect of your life, your personal relations, everything is now able to jump the next level, quantum style. Just get a feeling of that you don't have to believe it, you just have to see it, that you've just expanded by a quantum leap, or 2 or 3 quantum leaps, your energy sphere, and you've now encompassed an exponential increase of all the resources required, so that your life will now go bang up the next level. And within 90 days, because it always works like that, there will be at least the stage 1 of it will be visible. So in 90 days from now, you'll be able to look back and go, yeah, it has actually moved, and I can see it moving in the process. So another 90 days, it will be exponentially that much more obvious. That is the magic spell. And rather than try and believe it, because believing implies disbelieving, it's just a waste of energy, really. Just you kind of either know it in your body or be willing to agree with it as an idea, because why not? Just agree with it. If you don't believe it, just agree with it. Yep, I agree that I have now ordained and set in motion a quantum jump, a massive quantum jump in the size of my sphere, and therefore with all the opportunities and stuff that I require for things to develop the way I want them to do. Yes, and then come back.
Wow. That was stupendous. I love the way it just flows through you. You just tune in and just go with it and go with it. That was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm sure everyone on the live broadcast will have loved that. William saying his 90 days Valentine's Day. I can guess where his thoughts are going. Good for you. Teja saying thank you so much. And Isabel saying powerful and beautiful interview. Thank you. As I've seen before, get yourself over to barefootdoctorworld.com. There's so much amazing, awesome stuff for you to get into on there. Sign up for the Doc's newsletter. You won't regret it, I promise you. He sends out some powerful stuff that's transformational. You know, he doesn't just, rattle something off. It's meaningful, and it will impact your life positively. Just thank you so much, Stephen.
Oh, thank you.
Right.
You are lovely, man. Thank you for facilitating it. Wouldn't happen without you. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to all our wonderful viewers. We've had between 20 and 25 on steadily all day today.
Oh, great.
Much love to you all, and we'll see you for the next one. Take gentle care. Bye for now.
Yeah. Bye.